Recap. In the last episode, I discovered some fragments on top of the pistons. Fuming. You'll remember that all my markings lined up. From the bottom, all the way to the top. I don't know what's happened, so now I'm going to delve deeper into the engine to see what the crack is. Yep, it's things on wheels. Let's get moving. The plan of attack is to remove the turbo, followed by the inlet manifold and everything else in between.
Now, who knows what I've set myself up for, but I'm guessing bruised knuckles and some minor aggression towards rust.
My mate popped round for a bit. It's always handy having the extra pair of hands and the banter to get you through. Out with the cooling fan. This cover plate loosely attached.
Yeah, I know that was never tight.
He's going to take the blame for that one. Maybe he knew this day was coming, where I needed quick access to these strange looking nuts. They kind of look like Whatsits.
Copper as well, isn't it?
They use copper as it won't corrode or seize. However, being a soft material, it's easy to deform when removing. Luckily, they didn't give me any bother, so they did their job. Had to disconnect this coolant hose as it got in the way. Glove over the turbo, as who wants 10-year-old coolant in there? Not me. Finally done with the Whatsits.
That's the last one.
Sweet.
Yes, that's the last one.
F1 style bumper removal. Guys, make sure you're subscribed, smash the like button, click that bell icon so you get all the updates, and then go tell your friends. Next, I tackled the exhaust downpipe. Loving the space in the engine bay. Newer cars tend to have covers everywhere, leading you to move a load of items before getting to the actual thing you need. Interesting choice of washer there. Say no more. Off with the other side in an instant. And check this. They were two different sizes. One-way ticket to the bin. Vacuum hoses from the turbo actuator, and also other assorted hoses removed. It seems like a lot, but as long as you know what goes where, you can't go wrong. Can't forget about the oil feed and the oil return. I was expecting spillage,
Which I guess because it's above the sump, so.
but nah,
Yeah, true.
that wasn't too bad, was it? The whole turbo unit out the way. I'll inspect and clean it up as best I can. Next, more hoses on the inlet side. The throttle cable tucked out the way. Onto the fuel lines. No leakage to worry about here, but if you're doing it, release the pressure from the Schrader valve. Intercooler piping, and then onto the bolts for the manifold itself. Some easy to get to, some not so much. Yeah, bruised knuckles. Inbound. Bottom part of the intercooler pipe released, as it's covering yet more hoses. I'm not phased though. Let's continue. Another hose. Yeah. Think of these like the veins and the arteries for the engine. The cam cover needs to come off, as the bolts, or studs in this case, that attach the head to the block are underneath it. It wouldn't be fun without a rounded Allen bolt though, would it? Improvise and get through it. I used a slightly larger spline tool and tapped it in there. More teeth, more bite, more progress, no problem. All of these are getting replaced. I'm not taking the risk. So where are they going?
It needs to go in a bin. The bin.
I wonder what the condition will be like under that. Hold tight. And you know what? I'm fully impressed at the cleanliness. No scoring, No pitting on the cams. No burnt oil residue stains either. Beautiful. I like. Before the next stage, it's art class time. All will become clear in a future video. I remember doing this as a kid, over a fossil or other patterns on rocks. All that led me to this moment. The school curriculum knows at some point I'd be working on an old Vauxhall. Haha, well played. Wait for that one. And it's built off again. Click on the top right to see that process. No point covering it again this time round. Anyway, it's time for the main event. Those fixings for the head need to come off in a particular order. Deviate from that and it could warp the face of it. This will lead to the mating surfaces not sealing, which in turn could potentially allow your oil and your coolant to mix or even get into the cylinders. And you don't want that pain. Trust me. Before it can be lifted, there's more connectors. It's more obvious to the eye now, as you can see whatever would snag if you did try to take it off. Now I thought this bracket would get in the way, so off it comes. All in a day's work. I also took the thermostat housing off, and just as well I did, as I found more silicone sealant behind it. The cam sprockets need to exit the stage as well, as they would get hung up on the block backing plate behind it. Using the impact gun to minimise the risk of disturbing the timing. It's time. Bit of a heave-ho, and... it's no good. Gotta get up close and personal. Oh. Job's a good un. That'll do. And retrieve my crock from the bay. Wouldn't have happened if I left it in sports mode. So what do we have? Doesn't look anywhere near as bad as the boroscope made out.
It's like loose bits of carbon.
To me, that looks like loose carbon or something. Maybe it was loosened off after the engine turned from being still for so long.
Same here. That
Definitely not a valve though.
from above, that looks like a piece of metal, doesn't it? However, it's just a little...
That's the other piece. Let's get a closer look. Excuse the shaky cam. It's just a bit of old crust. Look at it crumble. That's a relief. They look decent for the most part.
We do have some gunge here. It's quite solid actually. So it's worth taking off. Same here as well, it looks like cholesterol, something solid.
All in all, we're good. I'm glad the head has come off, as I can address all those small issues. Also gives me a chance to check over everything behind the block that I couldn't get to. One more thing. Hey, safety first as the back end's going up. Why? Well, I remember all those years ago, the car would randomly not start. You couldn't even hear the fuel pump prime or run. So I want to drop the tank and see what the dealio is. Onwards.
So just there, that is the filler neck. We need to remove this before we drop this, otherwise it's going to break it. Okay.
$10mm socket for these ones. And they're plastic. Even better. No rust to deal with. Spoke too soon. Look at that bumper bracket. That's one for the parts list. Almost there. Now with the panel removed, I can see all the pipe work.
So we should be good to disconnect that. This, unclip those, and maybe these.
Time to get a wriggle on.
Come on.
Being extra cautious, as plastic can become brittle with age. Look at this. My mate was living on the edge for sure. Threadbare, that one. Jeez.
So from what it looks like, got a strap on this side, strap on that side, bolts holding them up, and we can drop the whole lot. Sweet.
I didn't know how much fuel was in the tank, so to avoid it crashing to the floor, I gave it some support in the form of a piece of wood and a jack. Buzzed off each bolt, holding the straps. Not too difficult, just very cozy underneath the car. That'll do. Then it can be lowered using the jack slowly, checking that nothing gets caught on its way down. Oh, stop right there. Before it can come out fully, I've got to undo the fuel supply and return hoses. Minor task. And then disconnect the wiring harness. Simples. Out she comes. God, it's a bit grimy under there, isn't it? Don't worry. Here's the whole fuel tank. Now I'm hoping for a eureka moment on this one. Yeah, deep within there. It's a big screw top holding this on, so a bit of gentle persuasion will get it moving. Aye aye. And slowly prise upwards to free it up. It's been in there a long time. Here we go. Look at that. Nasty. Fuel sender unit was just hanging in there.
Not sure that's meant to be like that.
It was kind of loose, but we'll sort that. Out with the pump, and I can't see a filter on the end. Where's it at? Oh, there it is. So sad. There's the remains of the filter, and it looks like the mesh material is degraded. And the sender unit looks different. Let's take a closer look.
Now I'm going to test this pump, disconnect this, apply voltage, submerge that in some fuel and see if it pumps anything out. If it doesn't, it's dead.
Strip down. Look in there.
Check that out in there. That looks blocked to me.
Now this thing was crumbling away in my hands. This can't go back on. Need to find a replacement or alternative. Sharpish. And it looks like another issue here.
I don't think they're meant to be that colour either.
So blocked pipe, blocked pump, and corroded connectors. Lovely.
So before we delve too deep, I'm going to do a continuity test on the cable from here to here, or even the other side of the connector. It'll beep if there's no break in the wire. So let's get probing.
I should have done this before disturbing that connector, but now it's back on. Let's see what the results are.
some resistance, but
A definite cause here.
no bueno. Let's whip the connector off. I think here's part of the problem. Look at that. That's some mad corrosion.
Let's begin scraping it off. With the help of some contact restorer and a wire brush too. I spent a fair bit of time on this. It may even get replaced for new. But for the benefit of this test, behold. Same for the inside of the top hat.
And those pins as well.
That blue crust needs to shift. Spray and brush flex. Nice.
Right, so let's do that test again. Blue.
Nice.
And red.
That's a win. I'll take that. On to seeing if the pump has any sign of life. I've rigged up some cables to a battery. And then using some of the old fuel, which smelt rather funky, I'll say. I'm going to submerge the pump, then apply some power. And a tiny bubble. I changed the top hose for a clear one just in case it was blocked. And nothing. Just a bubble. Reversing the polarity on the connections made no difference.
So, we're going to sort out the fueling issues inside this tank and the reassembly of this head. Stay tuned. I'm Wayne. This is Things on Wheels. Bless up.